Hi students, happy to present the next video on Unit 3 Functions and Pointers. This video is going to be about two concepts, nested functions and recursion. So these are two important concepts under functions. So we'll have just an eye-opening of two concepts with this video. The first thing is about nesting of functions. Already we have seen like nested loops and nested if statements, nested conditional statements. Similarly, we can just nest functions. So nesting means keeping one inside another, using one inside another. Similarly, when one function is used under another function, it is called as nesting of function. That's it. So when one or more functions are called under another particular function, it is known as nesting of function. ஒரு ஃபங்க்ஷனுக்குள்ளேருந்து ஒரு ஃபங்க்ஷனையோ இல்லை இன்னும் நிறைய ஃபங்க்ஷன்ஸையோ கால் பண்ணுறோம் அப்படின்னா அதுக்கு பேர் nesting of function. But one function cannot be defined inside another. It can be just called from inside. So here we have a sample format of nesting of functions. Void main அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு function இருக்கு. Inside the main function we have a call to function 1. And then following the function call we have a statement s1. And coming inside the function 1, function 2 அப்படிங்கிற ஃபங்க்ஷனுக்கு ஒரு கால் ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் இருக்கு. அந்த ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட்டுக்கு அடுத்ததாக s2 அப்படின்னு ஒரு ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் இருக்கு. Coming to function 2, here we don't have any other function calls, so just we have few statements to be executed. Now function 1 is making a call to another function, function 2. So this is called as nesting of function. You can just nest function to any depth. Function 2 1 குள்ள function 2, function 2 குள்ள function 3 க்கு ஒரு கால், function 3 குள்ள function 4 க்கு ஒரு கால். இந்த ரேஞ்சில் நீங்கள் எந்த டெப்த்துக்கு வேணாலும் நெஸ்ட் பண்ணிக்கலாம். What happens actually when nesting of functions occur? We know that execution starts and ends with main. So main குள்ள first statement function 1 இருக்கு. function 1 அப்படின்னு கால் பண்ணோன்னே என்ன ஆகும்? Control will be transferred to the first line of function 1. function 1 குள்ள என்ன இருக்கு? function 2ங்கிற ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் இருக்கு. அதாவது function 2ங்கிற கால் ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் இருக்கு. இமீடியட்டாக கண்ட்ரோல் என்ன ஆகும்? function 2 உடைய first லைனுக்கு போயிடும். And all the lines inside the function 2 will get executed. Then what should happen? Actually the control should be transferred to statement s2, right? So I hope this is what you have guessed. So s2 க்கு control return ஆயிடும். s2ங்கிற statement execute ஆகி முடிஞ்சதுக்கு அப்புறம் we don't have any other statements in function 1, so control gets transferred to s1. So this is the scenario, and after s1 we don't have any other statements inside main, so the main function stops. Just the flow should be just in the forward direction from function 1 to function 2, and then all the statements in the function 2, then return back to function 1 and then return back to main. இப்படி return back பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னு சொன்னால் எந்த ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட்க்கு return back பண்ணணும் அப்படிங்கிற அந்த ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட்டுடைய அட்ரஸ் கண்ட்ரோலுக்கு தெரியணும், right? So just for that purpose we use a data structure called stack to store the addresses. We'll just see a small example of how it works. When main calls the function 1, it stores the address of s1, statement s1, in a location, and then the control is transferred to function 1. Got that? So function 1 call பண்ண உடனே statement s1 உடைய address store பண்ணி வச்சுட்டு the control function 1க்கு போயிடுது. Reason என்ன அப்படின்னா only then when you return the statement 1's address can be retrieved and it can be used. Otherwise it will get lost. So when function 1 is called from main, the address of the statement s1 is stored and then the control is transferred to the function 1. Now when function 2 starts executing, the address of the statement 2, that is s2, is stored by the function 1, then control is transferred to function 2. Then the statements in the function 2 are executed one by one and the control returns back to function 1. So for that it needs the address of s2. So it retrieves the address of s2 from the stored location and the control will transfer to s2, right? இப்போ நம்மளோட data structureல இருக்கிறது s1 உடைய address மட்டும்தான். So as a next step, after executing the last statement in function 1, the control will just retrieve the address of s1 and the control will be transferred again to main. So this is the pattern that works. So first S1 உடைய address, அதுக்கு மேல S2 உடைய address, அதுக்கு மேல அதுக்கு வேற ஏதாவது function calls இருந்தா அதனுடைய address ஒன்னொன்னா மேல மேல store ஆயிட்டே போகும். Retrieve பண்ணும்போது it will be done just in the reverse pattern. So this type of data structure is called as stack, right? You would have heard of stack of plates, like arranging the plates one over the other. When you want to remove a plate, you just usually remove the plate that is at the top. Similarly, you would have seen a CD box where CDs are arranged one over the other. So when you want to pick a CD, you won't be able to just pick something that to your favorite directly. You have to pick the topmost one first, and then you have to just go towards the bottom. That is called as a stack data structure. Similar structure is used here to implement nesting of functions. So S1 ஓட address, அதுக்கு மேல S2 ஓட address, அதுக்கப்புறம் retrieve பண்ணும்போது 2 ஓட address first retrieve பண்ணும், அதுக்கப்புறம் S1 ஓட address அடுத்ததா retrieve பண்ணும். So this is how nesting of functions work. The next concept is recursion. Recursion is actually another version of nesting of functions. So using one function within another function is called as nesting of function. Similarly, another version is called recursion. Hope you would have seen this doll. This is called as a nested doll. ஒரு பெரிய டால் இருக்கு இல்லையா, அதுக்குள்ளே இந்த குட்டி டால்ஸ் எல்லாமே இருக்கும். அந்த பெரிய டால்குள்ளே அதுக்கடுத்து இருக்கிற குட்டி டால் இருக்கும், அதுக்கப்புறம் இருக்கிற குட்டி டால் அதுக்குள்ளே இருக்கும். It will be just in a nested pattern. This is called as matryoshka doll. Similarly, in this example also you can see reflections in mirrors. When two mirrors are kept opposite to each other, you can see this type of reflection. இந்த reflectionல பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஃப்ரண்ட்ல நமக்கு தெரிகிற இமேஜ் பெருசா இருக்கு, உள்ள போக 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 எப்படி இருக்கு, சின்னதா இருக்கு. அந்த லாஸ்ட்ல குட்டியா தெரிகிறது ரொம்ப சின்னதா இருக்கு. அதுக்கு மேல சின்னதா தெரிய முடியாது அப்படிங்கிற வரைக்கும் it will be just visible. So these are concepts of recursion. Similarly, recursion can be used in programming too. Now the definition of recursion, it is defined as a process when a function calls itself repeatedly until a condition is satisfied. So nesting அப்படிங்கிறதுல ஒரு ஃபங்க்ஷன் இன்னொரு ஃபங்க்ஷனை கால் பண்ணுச்சு, ஆனால் recursion கான்செப்டில் ஒரு ஃபங்க்ஷன் தன்னைத்தானே கால் பண்ணுது அப்படின்னா அதுக்கு பேர் recursion. So a function will be calling itself and that is done repeatedly. Repeatedly அப்படின்னு வரும்போதே we need a condition to stop that repetition, right? So recursion works until a condition is satisfied. So recursion concept யூஸ் பண்ணி ஃபங்க்ஷன் எழுதும்போது கண்டிப்பாக அதில் ஒரு ஸ்டாப்பிங் கண்டிஷன் இருக்கணும். A function that calls itself is called as a recursive function. So அந்த type of functionனை நம்ம recursive function அப்படின்னு சொல்கிறோம். So recursion எப்போ யூஸ் பண்ணுவோம் அப்படின்னா whenever you want to solve a bigger problem by just breaking it into fewer smaller sub problems. நம்ம அந்த பிக்சரில் பார்த்தோம் இல்லையா, அந்த டால், அந்த டால்ஸோட சைஸ் kept on decreasing. The biggest doll was there and then the smaller one, then the smaller one, and finally the smallest doll was something that will be able to be fit inside everything, right? Similarly, when a bigger problem is given, it can be just broken down into smaller sub problems until you will not be able to break that. For example, இப்போ 5ல இருந்து ஆரம்பிக்கணும்னா 5 4 plus 1 பிரிக்கலாம், 4 plus 1 3 plus 1 plus 1 சொல்லலாம், 3 plus 1 plus 1 2 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 சொல்லலாம், 2 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 சொல்லலாம். After that you won't be able to break, right? Similarly, so recursion involves breaking a problem down into smaller and many sub problems until you will not be able to just break that problem, and each smaller problems will be just solved. So ஒரு பெரிய ப்ராப்ளமை சின்ன சின்னதாக பிரிக்கும் போது அதை ஈஸியாக சால்வ் பண்ணலாம். சால்விங் அந்த ப்ராப்ளமோட சைஸ் ரெடியூஸ் ஆகும்போது சால்விங் வில் பி ஈஸியர், and then you have to just accumulate the solutions towards the biggest problem, and finally you'll get a solution for your biggest problem. We'll just see how it works. So this is the format for recursion. We have a main function and there is a function call to the function1. So function1 க்கு போனோம்னா function1 குள்ள என்ன இருக்கு? function1 க்கே ஒரு call இருக்கு, right? So here we have void function1, and inside that we have a call to the same function1. So this is called as recursion. Now we'll see an example for a program that uses recursion. C program to find the factorial of a number. It's a popular example that is generally used to explain about recursion. So here we are going to write a recursive function that is going to find the factorial of a number. Already we have done this same problem using iteration or repetition, right? So for loop use பண்ணி while loop use பண்ணி இதே problem நம்ம பண்ணியிருக்கோம். இதை எப்படி recursion use பண்ணி பண்ணலான்னு பார்க்கலாம். So here we have the starting pre-process directive statement hash include stdio.h, and then here we are going to use a function fact which is going to accept one integer as input, and then it is going to return one integer as output. So என்னங்கிற வேல்யூவை வாங்கிக்க போது function யூஸ் பண்ணி என்னுடைய factorial calculate பண்ணிட்டு ஒரு integer return பண்ண போது. That is the function prototype. Then we can write the main function. Inside the main function you read the value of n, and then just make a call to the function fact of n. So f is equal to fact within parenthesis n. You just pass the argument n. When the argument is passed, the function starts working. So this is the function int fact of int n, and here we have the function statement. The function will recursively work, and it will calculate the factorial value, and it will return the value to f, and the value of f will be printed on the screen. Here is the output of the program. Enter a number to find factorial 5. Factorial of 5 is equal to 120. Now coming to the recursive function, just see here we don't have any for loop or any iteration, etc. Here we just have one thing, a stopping condition, and inside that we have the statement, the recursive statement. So stopping condition என்ன அப்படின்னா, எப்போ இந்த function stop ஆகணும், because it is going to execute recursively, repeatedly. So it has to stop at some time, right? So only if n is greater than 1 it has to work, otherwise it has to stop. That is the condition. So நம்ம recursive statement என்ன இருக்கு, recursive call என்ன இருக்கு அப்படின்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, n into fact of n minus 1. For example, when you want to calculate the factorial of 3, how do we do it? 3 into 2 factorial, right? 3 into 2 factorial will give you 3 factorial. Similarly, if I want to calculate the factorial value of 10, so it is done as 10 into 9 factorial. Then how do you calculate the 9 factorial? 9 into 8 factorial, right? The same statement is used here. So whenever you are just making a recursive call to the function, the call should have a parameter value lesser than the normal actual value. So n star fact of n minus 1 ன்னு இருக்கு இல்லையா? So function எப்படி இருக்கு? fact of n ன்னு இருக்கு. ஆனால் recursive call எப்படி இருக்கணும்? அந்த n விட கம்மியாக இருக்கணும். fact of n minus 1 இருக்கணும். So I told you that a bigger problem is broken into smaller sub problems and it will be solved. So nங்கிற வேல்யூவை n minus 1 நம்ம reduce பண்ணிக்கிறோம், right? So according to the problem you have to reduce. நம்ம factorialங்கிறதுனால n minus 1 பண்ணிக்கிறோம். இதே ஒரு சில problem தான் n minus 2 பண்ணிக்கலாம், இல்லை n by 2 பண்ணிக்கலாம். It's up to the problem, but the value should be reduced in the recursive function call. So here we have the statement as n into fact of n minus 1. So this will just recursively work. So fact of n minus 1 ன்னு சொல்லும்போது n will get reduced step by step. So 5 ன்னு இருந்ததுன்னா n will become 4. n minus 1 ன்னு execute பண்ணும்போது மறுபடியும் 4 3 மாறும், 3 2 மாறும், 2 1 மாறும், right? So நம்ம கண்டிஷன் என்ன கொடுத்துருக்கோம்? n greater than 1 இருந்தால் மட்டும்தான் அது ஒர்க் ஆகணும்னு சொல்லியிருக்கோம். So when n becomes 1, automatically the else part will work. We know that the factorial of 1 is 1. So that one value will get returned. Otherwise, the previous return statement will work. So this will automatically work. This concept also uses stack data structure to store the returning addresses. Now we'll just how this concept works. So this is the recursive function we just considered inga recursive call statement enna n star fact of n minus 1. If n is equal to 5, how will this work? When n is equal to 5, the statement is n into fact of n minus 1. So that will be called as 5 into fact of 4. Am I right? So n will be just substituted by 5. So 5 into fact of n minus 4. That is 5 minus 1, which is nothing but 4. Now fact of 4 is another function call, another call to the same function. அப்போ என்ன ஆகணும்? இப்போ n value will be replaced by 4. So what should happen actually? Fact of 4 க்கு பதிலா நம்ம என்ன எழுதணும்? 4 into fact of 3 அப்படின்னு ஆகணும். So this what happens? 5 into 4 into fact of 3. இப்போ fact of 3 என்னவா மாறணும்? 3 into fact of 2 மாறணும். So that happens. So these steps are carried out implicitly. நம்ம explicit எழுதணுங்கிறதில்ல. I just wanted to explain how it works. So 3 into fact of 2. Then fact of 2 will be executed as 2 into fact of 1. Right? But நம்மளோட statement எப்படி இருக்கு? If n is greater than 1 இருந்தால் தான் இது நடக்கும். But now last call has fact of 1. So what should be the answer for that? 1. So fact of 1 will be replaced by 1 now. Now we have all the values parenthesized and they will be just returned in the same order, in the reverse order actually. So 2 into 1 will be done and it will be just calculated as 2. Then 3 into 2 should be calculated. So it will be calculated as 6. We know that 3 factorial is 6. So 4 into 3 factorial அப்படின்னா என்ன அர்த்தம்? 4 factorial கிடைக்கும். அதாவது 4 into 6 will give you 24 and 5 into 4 factorial will give you 5 factorial. So finally you have 120, right? So once you just break the problem into smaller sub problems till you will not be able to just consider fact of 4 5 ன்னு இருக்கிறத fact of 1 வரைக்கும் நம்ம break பண்ணி கொண்டு வந்துட்டு மறுபடியும் என்ன பண்ணணும்? அந்த ரிசல்ட்ஸை அக்யூமுலேட் பண்ணி ஒரே ரிசல்ட்டாக கொண்டு வர வரைக்கும் அக்யூமுலேட் பண்ணிட்டே வரணும் in the reverse direction. So this is how a recursive function works, but it is enough if you just write these lines in your program. So condition correctா இருக்கணும், statement correctா இருக்கணும், recursive call correctா இருக்கணும். That's it. You can view the same program in a different pattern with a same set of statements but with a different input value 4, right? So if you just go through these statements you can understand a bit more. And similarly this is another way of showing how the same function works. So I told you that fact of 5 is called. When fact of 5 is called, actually what happens? 5 into fact of 4 is happening, and once again fact of 4 will be just broken down as 4 into fact of 3. Fact of 3 will be broken down as 3 into fact of 2, and fact of 2 will be broken as 2 into fact of 1. Fact of 1 will be just replaced by 1 because we had a statement return 1. So 1 is returned and then the results will be just accumulated in the reverse direction till the first step fact of 5 was called, and finally you get the value as 120. So these are few problems for you to practice. Find the factorial of a number using recursion. I have already given you the program. You just practice it, rewrite it once. And second one is Fibonacci sequence. So whenever there is a sequence to be done, you can just use this recursion concept. So in Fibonacci sequence, each number is generated by the sum of the previous two numbers in the sequence, right? So here also we can just use recursion. So you have to think over two things. One is the stopping condition and next one is the recursive statement, recursive call statement, how you have to write. Okay, so that's what you have to just think over and write. In the next class maybe we can discuss about this. Third problem is the computation of sine series. You would have studied sine series in max subject. It goes like x by 2 factorial plus x power cube by 3 factorial plus x power 4 by 4 factorial, etc. So there also we have a series or a sequence, right? So here also you can make use of recursion concept. You think over and write. First you just browse and check, find the series, write down the series and just write a program, and then just think over how to solve the solve the problem using the recursion concept. Next is binary search. Binary search is also something called as recursive, because in binary search we have a longer list, and then after every search, when the search is unsuccessful, we just go on to the next step. ஒரு எலமெண்ட்டை கண்டுபிடிக்க முடியலன்னா நம்ம அடுத்த ஸ்டெப்புக்கு போய் மறுபடியும் எலமெண்ட்டை தேடுவோம். அப்படி தேடும்போது ப்ரீவியஸாக தேடின லிஸ்ட் ஆஃப் எலமெண்ட்ஸை விட இப்போ நீங்கள் தேடுற லிஸ்ட் ஆஃப் எலமெண்ட்ஸோட சைஸ் கம்மியாக இருக்கும். ஸோ த சைஸ் ஆஃப் த லிஸ்ட் in which you search goes on decreasing as you just move to the next step, right? So here also we can just make use of recursive function. You just try it out using recursion, and then we'll discuss. And another popular problem is the Tower of Hanoi puzzle that you have already studied in even in your previous semester. So you can just make use of those statements. So input should be just n, number of disk, எத்தனை disk யூஸ் பண்ண போகிறீங்க அப்படிங்கிறது மட்டும்தான் இன்புட்டாக இருக்கணும். Other than that, you have to just make function calls appropriately. You just search for the statements and then write. It's better not copy the programs from online sites or something. You just think over, write. Even if it is wrong, it's okay, it's not a problem. You just check your answer and then you can just rewrite the program. So practice will just make you to improve your programming skill. So practice these programs. Meet in the next video session. Thank you.